Hello students, today we will be talking about post-literacy in adult education. Post-literacy or post-literacy education is a concept used in adult education programs aimed at illiterate or neoliterate adults and communities. A neoliterate is an adult or an adolescent who did not or could not make use of the available educational opportunities on time and who at later stage acquired the skills of literacy through formal or non-formal approaches. Majority of neoliterates are economically poor and live in rural areas or urban slums. The post-literacy has different meanings in different education systems. Some countries included all forms of education after attaining basic literacy, and some countries consolidated basic literacy skills to a level of formal primary school. In India, the definition accepted by National Literacy Mission lies somewhere in between these two. As a part of continuing education, post-literacy programs attempt to give interested learners an opportunity to harness and develop their learning potential after completion of a course in basic literacy. Learning skills acquired by neoliterates during the short span on the literacy campaigns are at best fragile. There is a genuine danger of neoliterates regressing into partial or total illiteracy unless special efforts are continued to consolidate, sustain and possibly enhance their literacy levels. Thus, the aim of the mission's post-literacy program is to consolidate the basic literacy skills of speaking, reading, writing, numeracy and problem solving, and at the same time transform these learners into an educated whole person who is a productive socio-economic asset to the community. Unlike continuing education or further education, which covers secondary or vocational topics for adult learners, post-literacy programs provide skills which might otherwise be provided in primary education settings. Post-literacy education are programs which aim to maintain and enhance basic literacy, numeracy and problem-solving skills, giving individuals sufficient general basic work skills, enabling them to function effectively in their societies. Such programs strengthens the literacy skills of adults. The National Literacy Mission has designed a one-year post-literacy program to be implemented in a mission mode. In fact, it has laid a great deal of emphasis on planning and launching of post-literacy program simultaneously after conclusion of the total literacy campaigns phase. In keeping with its aims, the mission has formulated and circulated broad guidelines for implementation of post-literacy programs. The three basic elements are identification of learning needs of neoliterates, provision of learning opportunities to meet the needs, creating a socio-economic, political and cultural ambience to sustain the learning environment. Janasikshan Nilayam JSN or People Center of Learning was conceived and introduced in 1988 as an innovative institutionalized framework for post-literacy with a view to arresting the unfortunate and recurring phenomenon of relapse of neoliterates into literacy on the one hand and for promotion of a learning society on the other. A set of comprehensive guidelines on location of JSN, selection, training and placement of prereq, procurement of materials and the modality of conducting the plethora of activities in the JSN were also issued to the respective state government and other agencies interested in setting up the JSNs. National Literacy Mission works as technology mission to seek to harness the finding of scientific and technological research to improve the pace and quality of the program and to create a better teaching learning environment. The major objectives of the post-literacy program are organize activities for the sustenance of basic literacy and awareness among the neoliterates, ensure retention of literacy skills and upgradation of skills, especially of women, create an atmosphere for the application of the skills acquired by them, supply reading materials for neoliterates, continue literacy classes for dropouts and those who were not covered by the total literacy campaign, promote the developmental activities, take up non-formal education scheme for the dropouts from schools. Some major functions of post-literacy programs include to consolidate basic literacy skills. A literate who has just completed a basic literacy course is not guaranteed retention of that skill. As for any other skill, it could become diffuse and fade out in time unless it is systematically strengthened. A well-designed post-literacy program may be able to save the situation. With the material designed to suit the interests of the target group, post-literacy skills should be able to reinforce and consolidate basic literacy skills both cognitively and effectively. To make lifelong learning possible, post-literacy is a bridge towards autonomous learning. To reach the stage of autonomous learning means to be within the grasp of being a lifelong learner. Post-literacy programs develop reading habits while at the same time enhance writing and numeracy skill. Without post-literacy programs or their equivalent, a learning society cannot materialize since the neo and semi-literates will not be motivated to go beyond basic literacy skills. Post-literacy programs provide a second opportunity for the disadvantaged to become lifelong learners. A keen student within a post-literacy program has wide options from which to choose further education. Such a student can either enroll in an equivalency program and so have the chance to enter the formal system again, or he or she can go to other types of continuing education such as vocationally oriented, income generating programs or others. In this sense, post-literacy programs are liberating forces which provide the opportunity for participants to continue to learn throughout life, to enhance understanding of society and community. Effective communication fosters understanding and promotes ties in the community. Humankind is gregarious by nature. Being gregarious, we must have the skill to communicate to others and to listen effectively. Effective communication, including listening, requires certain skills. These skills can be acquired through training. Communication training programs can be designed and made available to every interested individual. Communication skills, therefore, should be a central part of any post-literacy program. They should be carefully developed to enhance understanding of society and of the community. To diffuse technology and increase vocational skill. Appropriate technology transforms the development of any country. Post-literacy programs can be an effective instrument to transfer required technologies to disadvantaged groups and to change a listless observer into a productive, energetic member of the labor force. The most successful post-literacy programs are associated with the workforce. The advanced skills of reading, writing and numerically required for autonomous learning are developed in association with the functional knowledge needed by participants to be maximally efficient as employees. The significance of such an approach for the overall upgrading of technology and for improvement in individual and commercial efficiency is self-evident. This type of approach makes a major contribution to the economic well-being of individuals and of the nation as a whole. To motivate, inspire and instill hope towards improving the quality of life. Dropouts, disadvantaged groups and low-income earners have a feeling of hopelessness. For them, the future is bleak. Their children are unlikely to have a meaningful place in society. Survival is by chance. Motivation to improve and the will to excel in life is marginal if not zero. Feelings of helplessness and the sense of alienation can be overcome. Making such people realize that each and everyone has the same unharnessed potential and that everybody is capable of attaining the best in life will motivate them to excel in whatever field they decide to undertake. This is possible because a post-literacy program is an educational activity. Being educational, it is an effective tool to affect changes in attitudes and behavior towards life. Post-literacy cultivates, develops, strengthens, and stimulates the power of the target group to foster happy family life. Through education, the ultimate goal of development is to improve the quality of life of every citizen in the country. To attain this goal requires cooperative effort by government and citizen. Every individual should be active in the development process. The fruit of development will only be harnessed by active participants. Bystanders will be swept aside by the tide of change. Post-literacy programs and activities are designed to prevent neo-literates and semi-literates from regressing into complete illiteracy. The programs aim to consolidate the literacy acquired during primary schooling or after the successful completion of the ATLP basic literacy program. Post-literacy processes generally refers to processes and activities especially developed for neo-literates, which are designed to help them become fully functionally literate and to be autonomous learners. The essential aims are to prevent regression to semi-literacy or worse, and to develop those higher level literacy skills which are essential for autonomy in learning. Such skills include context vocabulary building, increased general knowledge and its application, and the development of skills in integrating concepts into cognitive systems. It is especially important to develop higher skills of critical reading and to foster skills in independent problem solving. In all activities, the objective is to sustain interest in learning and prevent regression. A post-literacy program should be open to everybody who takes reading and learning as a way to enrich life. However, post-literacy programs should be specifically designed to serve certain groups of individuals. Broadly, this clientele can be classified as A. Semi-literates. A semi-literate is a person at a stage of literacy development where he or she is able to meet the technical requirements of the final grade of a literacy training, but beyond which progress is inhibited. The failure to proceed further may be motivational, or it may be because of some inherent ability problem. Semi-literacy are almost always functionally illiterate. That is, their literacy levels are inadequate for them to function adequately in the day-to-day life of our modern communication-based society. The key to helping semi-literates proceed further is to give them skills needed for advanced reading so they have the confidence and the skill to continue to study. These skills involve vocabulary development, development of general knowledge, skill in establishing mental schemes to integrate concepts, critical reasoning and problem solving. The learning habits of this group can be addressed by making them accessible to well-designed, advanced reading materials. To motivate them and encourage them requires reading materials which are interesting and inspiring and relevant to work and daily life. Availability of enlightened facilitators and change agents can hasten the process towards inculcating the learning habit. B. School dropouts. Not everybody in the formal schooling system can excel and graduate, no matter how strongly the diploma disease may engulf a society. In almost every society, a large number drop out of the system. Some drop out much earlier than the others. The group that is rejected by the formal schools at early stages must be given immediate attention. Since their learning skill is still weak, it requires special care. Failure to attend to the needs of this group will cause a serious problem for society. Dropouts may need further work in basic literacy, may be qualified to enter equivalency programs, or may be best served by taking post-literacy programs. C. Special target groups. Hardcore poor in urban and rural areas, slum dwellers, women, especially rural women, aborigines, immigrants, geographically isolated communities. These groups are found everywhere. Post-literacy programs should be localized. They should be sensitive to local value systems and local needs. This principle should be adhered to under all circumstances whenever we plan, implement and evaluate post-literacy programs for these specific communities. These communities have peculiar value systems and peculiar social practices. Their particular worldview is only understood among them. Yet to survive, they must also understand the worldview of the wider community. Four categories of standards are provided: reading skills, writing skills, numeracy skills, general mental skills. The additional points should be stressed in regard to the standards. They are indicators only. In post-literacy, it is more difficult to define standards in terms of clearly stated competencies. Scanning vertically down the individual columns of the complete table gives an adequate indication of what should be achieved at each level. They are not prescriptive. Each member state or educational system would wish to determine its own reading, writing and numeracy standards according to circumstances and needs, and based to an extent on the characteristics of its national and local languages. Mental skills are critical aspects. Educational Testing Service in the United States believed that mental skills are essential if literacy skills are to be consolidated and individuals are to develop to be true autonomous learners willing to accept responsibility for their own continued lifelong learning. Individual member states and educational systems are therefore encouraged to retain these general categories of mental skill as listed in the first column of the table. They may wish, of course, to define the standards to be achieved within each area of mental skill according to their own needs. The idea of a learning society was first put forward by the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization in its famous report titled Learning to Be. According to this report, a learning society is one in which all agencies of a society are educational providers, not just those whose primary responsibility is education. Similarly, all citizens should be engaged in learning, taking full advantage of the opportunities provided by the learning society. True to these words, Kerala has always been a learning society. The educational and social reforms of Maharajas, the relentless efforts of Christian missionaries, the educational pursuits of Nair Service Society, the contribution of Sri Narayan movement and a galaxy of social reforms laid a strong educational base in Kerala. The socio-political movements, freedom struggle and trade union movements have played a very significant role in creating a suitable environment for people's participation. Excellent network of rural libraries, better transport and communication facilities, people's perception towards education, social mobility, political commitments are some major factors which provided a conducive climate for the people to learn. The main objectives of continuing education program are to create a learning society through lifelong education, to equip the adults with practical knowledge and problem-solving skills to reform the society, to bring about fundamental social, economic and cultural changes in society. Equivalency programs. They are designed as an alternative education program equivalent to existing formal, general or vocational education. Income generating programs, where the participants acquire or upgrade their vocational skills and take up income generating activities. Quality of life improvement programs. This aims to equip learners and the community with essential knowledge, attitude, values and skills to raise their standard of living. Individual interest promotion programs, to provide opportunities for learners to participate and learn about their individually chosen social, cultural, spiritual, health, physical and artistic interests. Post-literacy programs are designed to strengthen the literacy skills so that the learner can follow meaningfully other opportunities offered by the continuing education programs. The program can be formal or non-formal in nature. Any educational activity after childhood is considered as continuing education. The target group may be semi-literates, neo-literates, or autonomous learners. ATLP for continuing education offers income generating programs, quality of life improvement programs, equivalency programs, individual interest programs, and post-literacy. Post-literacy, therefore, is one of the integrated continuing education programs. All programs are functional. All involve functional knowledge. The functional knowledge is used as a delivery technique with the objective of making learning is relevant to living and working. However, there is a major difference between post-literacy and other programs. The basic difference is that in the case of post-literacy programs, the advocator must stress rehabilitation activities. This is because it is possible for neo-literates and semi-literates to regress to even complete illiteracy. This is less possible in other programs, especially among equivalency learners. Okay students, the lesson post-literacy has come to a conclusion. Do you have any questions?
Ma'am, this is Kalpana. I have a doubt. What is importance and role of technology and internet in adult education?
Technology is increasingly used in adult learning either as a complement to teacher-mediated instruction or as the sole means of learning. Although access to technology may present challenges to adult education programs and practitioners, these can be overcome. Online platforms have progressed considerably in recent years and promise to offer increasingly useful, affordable, and accessible applications and tools for adult learning. Teachers using technology need to continue to provide opportunities for in-person interaction to promote literacy development. Given the rapid rate of innovations in software and internet access, long-term research studies are needed to understand more about the role and impact of using technology with adult education. Do you have any more questions? So students, we have concluded our lesson on post-literacy in adult education. Thank you.